Okay, we're going live. Can you guys just talk?
Yeah.
Intro it.
Is that a good height?
Great. Can you hear us?
Is that height better?
Are we live?
Just pretend like you're live. Yes.
Oh well, welcome to the salvaged stream of Rocket Jump Film School. I'm your host today, Joey, joined by Kevin Senzaki, our in-house head of sound department and
It's not my fault.
And sound designer of Dimension 404. Where's Kevin? Show Kevin. There he is. Yes.
This is pretty janks.
It's great.
We have a great rig here. We have a webcam sitting on a tripod.
Yep.
Because everything went wrong at the same time.
Absolutely.
Like the Millennium Falcon, Star Wars Day.
It hasn't been more relevant than today. We've all sort of had that Doc Brown moment where you connect the two things and then they won't connect, like Christmas lights or something, and so that's happened but here we are.
It was us. It was the Han Solo banging the Millennium Falcon. It was accurate.
Exactly. So may the 4th be with us all.
Woo!
Let's dive into it because we're running behind.
What are you doing today, Joey?
Yeah, take a look at this. Not that. This.
What did you originally point at?
Nothing. This is our speak and spell from the Hulu trailer, if you remember. It's a 1978 kids toy designed to help you learn how to spell, and it sounds pretty demonic, as you can see. And today, if you've joined us on the other stream where I attempted to do this, we're gonna circuit bend this machine. And circuit bending is when you take a kid's toy or any electronic thing and make it do things that it wasn't intended to do. So that's, for an example, I have all these wires rigged up right here, just to sort of test it out so you can get a quick demo. If I flip this switch, I am now connecting to a point on the circuit board where it makes this sound. Alright.
Irish Hippo says hi, Kevin.
Yo!
Say it again.
Yo!
Nah.
We've been talking in the forums. I wonder if we can bring that mic closer.
Can you guys hear everybody in this room okay?
I'm worried about the speak and spell. It's not the loudest device.
Can you guys hear the speak and spell? Let us know.
Still banging on that Millennium Falcon as we go throughout the thing.
I think they can hear, but you let us know if it sounds okay. Here, play it again, Joy.
Sure.
All right.
Go for it. I was just take a picture.
Did you guys hear that?
I think Cherish we can just set it right over next to us here, if it'll reach. Yeah, anywhere down there is good.
No, don't unplug it. Okay.
We're still banging on this Falcon
I
here.
really don't want things unplugging.
Let me get an apple box.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you need a key to the cage?
Actually,
Is she doing this?
That's safe.
this is safe.
No.
Very safe. Trisha, we're good. This is very safe. Is that mic muted?
No.
Very sorry, everybody.
No, it's a live stream.
That wasn't me. It's not my fault.
Oh, I'll do it here. Hold on 1 second. I'm
Kevin
muting really quick.
Kevin is responsible.
Okay.
Oh, they can hear us.
Okay.
There.
Cool. Well, let's do the thing.
Okay. All right. I feel really good about this. Because if you did join us last time, oh yeah, for the record, all the sounds that we will be recording today, we're also going to be recording into this device. It's an Olympus LS20, I believe. We're going to record directly into this through the quarter, no, I believe the 1/8 into a quarter, which I have sort of rigged up to the speakers coming out. So, hey, if we get some good sounds out of this, we might make it available for you all for your own sound design and things. And while I sort of get set up here, Kevin, why don't you talk about sound design and D404 and all the things?
Right. So we actually did this with several different musical children's toys when we were getting ready to start sound designing for D404. So Joey just brought in some stuff, and we did like we did here. We connected it directly into my Pro Tools station, and we recorded like several hours of circuit bending and just different glitches and distorted audio. And then I ended up going through all of that, which was fun, and picking out like the 120 seconds that were great. And then I labeled those, put them in the sound library I was building for the show, and then throughout D404, like in the opening title sequence, whenever we have computers, different glitches, kind of static electricity, a lot of that is Joey destroying children's toys. So it was really cool to get like original material like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like organic glitches. You're not trying to.
Irish Hippo asks, is circuit bending common in the film industry?
I had never seen someone do it personally, so I don't think it's that common. But any and all sources for material are valid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like with anything in film in general, there's like 1,000 ways to get anything done. And if you figure out like 20 ways to do it that are unique to you, then you're in great shape.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to exploit, which is the correct word, exploit Joey's talent here, and we got something pretty unique.
Yes. I wouldn't call it talent. It is very much trial and error with this. I am not an engineer, and you don't need to be an engineer to do this. I will say, preface, if you do this at home, do it with anything battery powered. Any electronics that are plugged into the wall, you run the risk of actually getting really, really electrocuted. So,
I got electrocuted by a wall socket once, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, so anything battery powered usually isn't strong enough to give you that much of a shock, or any shock at all.
Wait, Jerry, are you going to be soldering?
Yes, I will be soldering.
Okay, I want to open the door for that.
Yes, that's smart too. Ventilation and things like that. So, with speak and spells and any sort of really common old device, you can usually find printouts online of people who have already done this type of thing. So it saves you the time it takes to just sort of poke around on the circuit board. So if I didn't have this little guide, naturally what you would do is you would go to Radio Shack and just sort of pick out some alligator clips like this. And what you would do is you would just honestly connect it to a point, start making sounds. Right now I have the thing on. So then you would start making sounds, and you would literally just poke every other point like that until
zoom in a little bit more. Yeah.
Until something happens. And it can take hours, and you just have to. It's trial and error until you find something that makes an interesting noise. And then once you find something that you like these 2 points right here. Oh, that's hot. I found these 2 points right here, or by found I mean this guy pointed out these two right there. Boom and boom. And what I'm about to do is I really like that, but just connecting them will actually just sort of set your entire device to that thing. So you want to be able to control it by turning it on and off, and you want to control the intensity of that glitch. So what I've done here is I printed out a little schematic for you. That's what we're doing. We're connecting the 2 points
You printed that out?
through a toggle switch and a potentiometer.
That's like a drawing. Did you draw that?
Yeah, I just did that now because it's pretty basic, and you don't need to be an engineer to do this. But you're basically just connecting.
To make a drawing.
Point A, point B. Thanks, guys.
PD's rooting for Petty. I'm sorry, Petty is rooting for you, Joey.
Thank you. Thank you. You remember the last one?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
And Kevin Ziad, I think I'm saying your name right.
Okay.
I think. I'm sorry. Is asked how big is your sound library?
Whoa! Wow.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep it.
Yeah, the main library I'm using right now for professional editor, it's not particularly massive. Right now I'm probably around 350, 400 gigs. Some of the editors I work with will have, several terabytes of stuff. It's not uncommon. But at a certain point, it doesn't really matter. You want to basically have enough material that when you need to pull stuff from the library, there's enough options, where you have several things to choose from. At a certain point, once you start getting really, really huge amounts of data, a lot of it starts to become redundant, or you'll get the same samples from like 5 different libraries that are all just using the same ancient recording made in the 60s. So it's hard to put a file size number, really on how much you want, but I'm doing okay with my what, third of a terabyte. Every now and then there's things I want, and I'll record them myself or make very specific library purchases as needed. For D404, I wanted more marine mammals when we were doing Polybius and Sinithrax, which are like 2 of our big creature episodes. So I basically went to Will Coleman, who was our post supervisor, which means basically he's my dad and he has all of our money. He has the credit card for the show. And I said, Will, I need $175 to buy walrus grunts. And he very unwisely said, okay. So now we have like 30 gigs of walrus grunts, which, you know, I'll never need more of those again.
All right. You guys ready for me to try and solder up some electronics?
Let's open up that door.
Yeah.
Get that
And
fresh air.
Trisha, if there are any more wires on the table, can
Yeah,
like
I'll grab
scraps? Yeah. Because I didn't bring my spool today.
Joe Jabs asks, is there a potentiometer and toggle switch in one?
Yes, there are. I think I might even have one. As you can see, keep everything in one place. Unfortunately, don't do what I do at the same time. By
Do as I do.
by
Do
just
as I say, not as I do.
exactly, because like I have random stuff in here. Like this is like lights from a little kid's Payless shoe, you know. So I could put those. You know, you never know when you need that. But yeah. So here's my. Oh, here it is. This is a toggle switch and a potentiometer in one. And they sell these at Radio Shack. And what it is it has the points for the toggle, which is just on and off. And then they have the connectors for here. And you can hear the click. That's on, and then when you turn it all the way off, it toggles off when you hear the click. So that's that.
Just to put in the disclaimer, I don't know if this is a chain-wide issue. My local Radio Shack closed like a week ago, so I just went there and bought everything.
Yeah. Guys, these stores are going out of business.
So at this point, Amazon.
Yes.
Perhaps,
It's
as well.
so cute.
Yeah.
Let's name it. Let's name your both in one thingy.
My speak and the toggle.
Yeah, the toggle.
I mean, that's already a name. So.
Toggle's already,
Judy the toggle.
Toggle's already like what's the termite people in Attack of the Clones? Just
Cam-
call it Toggle
Cam-
the Lesser,
Oh, right.
because Star Wars Day.
All right.
Judy the toggle.
Toggle the Lesser. Someone will get it.
So just so you know, we're just going to demo it again. What's really nice about the alligator clips is you don't have to commit to anything. You don't have to solder it and realize it doesn't work after you've done it. So the alligator clips let you sort of test out what things could be. So I have it all sort of rigged up to test, and then we'll make it permanent. All right, so that's off. I'm going to flip the toggle. Okay, here we go.
Joe, you want to move to here actually, so it's like a side view?
So right now, these things have a tendency to glitch out and crash because you can overwhelm the circuit board. Okay. So that's that. If you guys haven't seen the Speak and Spell short on the Rocket Jump social, those were all noises that we used from this machine. I didn't actually burn it up and blow it up or anything like that. Here, we'll just start soldering. And just in case we get some cool sounds.
Cool.
Alright. So, as you saw by my drawing again, right now we're going to do the green here, which is A to the first part of the toggle switch. And that's what we're up to.
You're a cyberpunk wizard right now.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll take it. Any other questions?
Master Blaster said 30 gigs of Walrus Burns is a great band name.
Yes, it is.
30 gigs of Walrus Burns. That's a long one.
That's
Alright.
Yeah.
So when you're messing with solder, don't inhale. But I'm just sort of prepping the wire.
I'm
Did I turn it
gonna-
off?
Master
turn it
Blaster
off.
also did ask, is it possible to produce these sounds by simply inserting a metal object into an electrical outlet? Don't do that! You
might-
sound like you might die. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It might make a sound, but
Your wails of pain because electricity is coursing through your body.
Oh gosh, I had too much coffee this morning, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what happened last time, Joey.
I know, I keep forgetting I just like coffee.
Do you want a little handkerchief?
For what? So I'm
Or
just
inhale
prepping
it.
the heads and the tails basically, so when I do get it in there, it'll... Boom!
Stay on target.
Stay on target. And that's it. It happens really quick. And you just practice. I mean, I'm not the best at it, but hey, it's not going anywhere. So that's good.
Oh, it smells like poison in here.
Great. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, so
Well,
we're
what
going to go middle to middle. Does that make sense? You guys, I really encourage you all to just mess up any toy out there. All right, so we're going blue right here. We're doing the middle prong to the other prong. And how this toggle switch works is when it's flipped over to this side, that means it's connecting all the way through. When you flip it to this side, it gets killed because there's nothing attached to that end. So the sound breaks out. Does that make sense? Or the effect is off because it's not connecting all the way to the other point.
Northy Tunes asks, is this the same tech used in chiptunes?
What's chiptunes?
Chiptunes are when you do like 8-bit sounding music. There might be some performers that do that. Normally, it's a lot of I don't know how many are doing their chiptunes with actual hardware, where they're actually taking like old stuff like Commodore 64s and using the sound chips from that directly, or if they're doing software. There is no reason this would not be valid though. If you want to do like glitchy industrial chiptunes, this could totally work. Yeah, actually, that could be really cool. That could be the 30 gigs of Walrus Grunts.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I'm trying to strip the wire because I don't
If
have
I
wire
seem low
strippers.
energy, I'm just trying not to inhale too much right now.
Yeah, we're screwed. This whole thing was doomed. We went from a really big room with all our camera setups to just Cameron being. Show yourself, Cameron. Yeah.
Show yourself!
Show yourself! Yes. Needle nose pliers, a soldering iron, other things like that. You can pretty much get all this stuff. Go to thrift stores. You'll find toys pretty cheap. $1 a piece, maybe $1.50 if they're overcharging. There we go. Stripped it. Nailed it. It's the lug nut.
Squeaky.
Fixed it.
Squeaky. Do you want to talk about this, and then I have a question for you.
So these little things, they have like a little loop that you can send it through. I don't know if you can see that, but essentially, you could just sort of thread it through like you would a needle, bend it back, and then you're good to go.
Question?
Any other questions?
Squeaky516 asks, are there any good resources on how to get a basic grasp of electronics? I really have no idea how stuff works on a basic level.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things. I mean, I learned how to do this stuff on YouTube. You can just search circuit bending tutorials, stuff like that. It's really basic stuff. You don't need a large knowledge of electronics to sort of fiddle around with this, and I encourage you all to just sort of get comfortable with just sort of how circuits work or how you can manipulate them.
So you would say search for key phrase circuit bending tutorial.
Yeah.
And Mr. YouTube's got your back.
Mr. YouTube has got your back.
Huh.
And you can apply this sort of skills to like I learned cigar box guitars are a really fun thing to another hobby out there that you can do if you don't want to buy a guitar. Cigar box guitars, very fun, very low budget. And it requires no more skill or soldering than just connecting 2 points. And there are diagrams and breakdowns of how to solder pickups for guitars and things like that online. Because guitars are expensive.
Can you explain what you're doing again one more time, Joey?
If you're just now joining us, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the middle of circuit bending, which is a fun little hobby that you can do. And we specifically have used devices like this for the purposes of sound design for our shorts, and for Kevin used some of this for T404. And once I finish sort of routing my way through, I will give you another demo. But essentially what you're doing is you're making sounds out of a toy that it wasn't intended for, right? Something like that.
Yeah,
Words.
you're intentionally doing it wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's fun. You get unique sounds out of it. Every time you do something like this, it will be unique and unto itself. All right, so now we're connecting the middle sections. Once I do this, there's only the final out to our point B, and we've successfully done it. I went ahead and pre-drilled and installed these pots and toggles in here already for the sake of time on this stream. When you're doing this thing, you want to make sure that no matter that. Oh, hang on a second. Shaky hands. I'm gonna start it with a little bend in it like that, just so I can hook this wire right now, because right now I'm struggling with it.
Do you guys have any favorite moments from D404?
Ooh. Nope. Hated the whole thing.
No.
Yeah.
It's Andrew Moore's asked just that. I said Bob. I love Bob.
Bob turned out really great. Yeah. Looking at it, as a sound designer, Polybius was a lot of fun. Like the first time Andrew plays Polybius and he has the sort of psychedelic nightmare visions, that was really fun. Because I've never seen a scene like that in a movie, really, with that exact specific thing. So it was cool doing like a Jacob's Ladder, Event Horizon, Silent Hill, like nightmare hallucinations, but it's all about like 80s beeps and boops and old video game sounds. That was really fun to do. So some of the circuit bending came really in handy for that, where I wanted, like an electronic sound, but with kind of a raw, random, organic sort of feel to it. And I think that's what's so cool about this stuff, Joey, because you're getting, true electronic sounds, but it's through this physical hardware interface, where there's a lot of literal physical energy and unpredictability to it.
Yeah. I thought the sounds of Polybius were just great in general. Like I really like how the score came together. The whole thing just sort of complemented the vibe of that episode very well. So I'd say
that one came together in the edit. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that Bob was my favorite script. Polybius was my favorite score, and Time Rider was my favorite character. Time Rider was a blast.
Best, yeah.
Time Rider was funny because the helmet design we went with, that was the first draft.
Yeah.
Actually.
That looked really good.
I was actually out of the country, so I borrowed Jimmy Wong's Wacom tablet, like his older one, threw it in a backpack, and like flew international. So I was like in a house in the countryside in Japan on like the local Wi-Fi, and I had like the thing on my lap at like a dinner table, and I just drew that and sent it over.
Nice.
And then
it was used.
I kept doing other drafts, and I found out they had gone with the first one. So
that's funny how that works out.
Yeah.
All right, last point out the pot. Okay, you get your. So what you do is you take your solder sort of comes on a spool like this, I guess, and so once you wrap the wire around, you just kind of take your soldering iron and a little piece of the spool, and then you just sort of melt it all together, right? There's really not much else you can do it. It's just getting it to not melt onto other things. Damn it. Okay. Stand by. We're not totally boned. Just need to go to my idiot tools. Where did my little screwdriver go? This is close enough. Alright, because when metal touches the other point there, it sort of F's up what you just did. So right now I have
smell.
Right now I have it the wire sort of touching the middle prong. There's two prongs right there. I have the metal sort of connected to one. Again, I'm not a friggin' scientist, so you just sort of make it not so. This is where it all goes horribly wrong.
Oh God.
Okay.
The focus on this webcam is
I'm just gonna take that off.
amazing.
Is it bad? Is it good?
I mean, you get the general impression. It's not perfect.
Okay. Guys, are you learning something? Should we keep going?
I think it's colorful and this is something that's unusual. You're
going,
melting
man.
shit and stuff.
Going,
I'm sorry.
I want to hear some.
You're right, Kevin. We're gonna do this.
Like we've already left the Shire. Let's go.
Exactly.
It's not how.
It's the farthest away from home I've ever been.
Kaguya Horizon asks, "Is this a speak and spell?"
Yes, it is. Good eye.
It is a speak and spell.
Not for long.
Is there things that you really need to avoid, Joey? Obviously, beyond the you should do on battery operated things. You mentioned that. Any other things you should avoid touching in there, like the battery?
No. It's all up for grabs. Very harmless.
There's just not enough
Just-
power going through it to really wreck you.
Yeah, just, again, be careful not to inhale too much of this crap, because it is not good for you.
Augie says he's learning. He or she is learning.
Perfect. Okay, another point that will save you a lot of trouble is make sure you have enough room for your components to be inside the thing. Meaning, when you close it up, you want to be able to close the dang thing, alright? That's why you're doing this in the first place. So make sure that you have enough room inside your device whenever you're measuring this stuff up. You can eyeball it, but just, for me, there were, you could probably see it better on this side. There are spots right here where I could lay some good, pots and toggles, but there were these stupid ridges coming down blocking the thing, so what I did was I just ripped the guts out, just added plastic in this thing, so I just ripped it out with some needle nose so that you can make room for pots. That makes sense? You don't wanna drill something. Oh, and then by the way, what you didn't see, or if I'm jumping all over the place, you use a drill to.
Ooh.
Hey, that's hot.
You're
Good
okay?
idea. Yeah, everyone's fine. You use a drill to just sort of poke holes through the plastic. That's it.
Adrian C asks, what does this have to do with film? So maybe give a little bit more context.
Okay, good question. It could just have nothing to do with film, but I think that the sounds that you can get out of circuit bending are very unique, and we can create some very interesting sounds for sound design. In this case, we used circuit bent toys for the sound design in Polybius, and partly for the intro of Dimension 404, which Kevin can speak to because he is the sound designer of the show.
Hi.
Yeah. But yeah, I think all of whatever you circuit bend, you can find unique things, and whatever you get from that design or from that sound, you can also just manipulate more in Premiere or Pro Tools or anything else. So
Yeah. So because Joey, you've been doing this for quite a while. Like you've used this for some of your films for quite some time. For me, the reason I was so interested in this is, again, this isn't necessarily a film skill, but it's a really cool way to get sounds you can't get any other way. It gives you some really unique stuff. So when I was trying to build the library for the show, I thought, this is awesome. This is something I've never heard before. This is something that's not really in many sound libraries, and not a lot of people really do this for film. So because it isn't such an obvious fit, that's exactly why I wanted to do it for D404.
Yeah.
Because we have sort of a technology theme and like a glitch and like a like glitch in the machine kind of theme of the show, and I thought this is a perfect way to do that and get some really cool, unique, sounds.
yeah.
And it worked.
Squeaky516 has a question for Kevin that's kind of related to what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, what is the process of finding what sounds work in a film? What is the process of finding what sounds work in a film like? Is it just experimentation, or do you have a vague idea of what you want or need?
It's definitely both at the same time. So, you always, like, when I first kind of get a script or something, I'll try to just think of thematically what sort of feel I'm going for, and that can mean almost anything. Like, I know that's vague, but does that mean like a certain, way of generating sounds, a certain kind of sounds, like if you know what kind of machinery it's going to be, for example, and then, from that concept, you can start just sort of brainstorming. I'll often do rough drafts before we even have a picture shot, just to kind of find cool sounds that work together well. And then when we get the picture, a lot of times, I do try to come up with a specific thing for kind of each event, like a base sound to start building around, something that just feels right, something that works for the story, something that matches what you're seeing. But at the same time, your first impulse may not work, or you may not know exactly what to do at the start. So you always keep experimenting. You do keep you want to sort of keep it alive and keep changing, and keep it a creative process until the moment you have to deliver it to the mix stage. And the way that works is basically I was the sound designer on the show, which means I sat at a little keyboard usually with headphones on, and I assembled all these different sounds. I put them all on. I took all the different sounds, put them on different tracks, like layered stuff together, did some effects on them, and then it goes to our mixer, who takes the mess I made and then kind of makes it fit together with the dialogue and the music. So I sort of make all these raw materials, and he sort of creates the final product out of it. But even after I would send him stuff, sometimes it would be like, oh, hey, add this in. And I would keep giving him more files, which isn't ideal, but that is kind of how it works, you know.
Question for Joey.
All right, let's fire away.
Have you ever found something unexpected when opening an electronics up?
Yes. What I will say is that newer electronics are very difficult to do this. This device was made in 1978, so the circuit board is massive. There are a lot of points to this thing that you can easily grab onto and manipulate. However, when you go to a device that is made, I'd say within the last 10 or 20 years, the points within that circuit board, what you will find is that they are very small and very difficult to solder to, or solder. What is it? I say solder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's always a challenge. Like, there might be a really cool toy, and then you bust it open, and then you see the inner workings of it, and they can always take you by surprise. You never know what you're dealing with until you unscrew it and take a look. So each one, like I said, is unique, and each one lends itself to all kinds of different scenarios. For this, it was when I busted it open, I was like, man, how the heck am I gonna put pots and toggles into here? So what I even did was I took off the metal faceplate because this is prime real estate to potentially put points onto. So I just sort of pried this off. Speak and spell, gone, don't need it. Because we're already going to destroy the thing or make it our own. So I just taped around the thing to keep the keypad down. And yeah, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we have successfully circuit bent a pitch shift onto this speak and spell. So let's test it out. All right. Huh, interesting. The speaker seems to have taken a dump.
It's playing, it's just a little low.
Y'all can't hear it anymore. I wonder why that is. Are my points touching? Huh? Did I break it again? It's all possible.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, something's going on.
Is it making any sounds?
Yeah, very faintly.
You want me to, Joey's a backup, I can bring in one of our other devices too.
Oh,
Something just goofed up with the speaker, that's all. Because we are getting a signal. Sort of.
Kevin. I was going to ask you to grab something. Just...
Maybe the batteries are dying? That could also be a thing. One time I thought I broke the thing, but actually the batteries were just dead. That's always a possibility too. So, I don't rule out hope.
Just ask Kevin to get it for you. Sounds! R.I.P. Speak and Smell.
There's a green bag in there. Could you grab it?
What was that?
Joey,
What was
this
that?
thing's just popping off, making noises.
Alright, we have other ones.
This one was used for D404, and so is this one.
I call this Excalibur, which is
Thanks, Kevin.
It's a Yamaha PSS 6. And what it is it's a little keyboard with a Guitar Hero neck attached to it, with all kinds of more pots up and down the thing.
Can I just point out how this is totally okay? Because this is what they do on cooking shows, right? Like, they prep the thing, they put it in the oven, and they bring out a totally different one.
Oh yeah,
It's
totally
already done. So
Yes.
we've just done that.
I'm almost certain that the batteries are dying on this because that's the only, because you still get a signal, you still get this, but that to me is what has happened.
Well, you want to show off some of what that thing can do?
Sure.
Because that we definitely got a lot of mileage out of.
This does not seem to give me any signal. And actually, what the best way to use this is to plug it out of it. There it is. All right.
So we'll get it.
So I don't even know what each one of these things all do. But
Yes. Well, what's happening? What's happening here? I glitched it. What this actually needs is it needs an amp to play out of.
we also got this kid. Let's see if we can get a little closer and show off all the stuff that's put on there.
You make it just sound like farts. Just farts.
It's like a demon band.
You wanna try this one?
So what you can only hear half of that because this actually needs to be played out of an amp, and because it has a phase shifter pedal up in the neck, which the 9-volt battery on it is dead. So as you can see, this is Excalibur. It is the Frankenstein machine. There is more to it, but that's a little tip of the iceberg for you. We can play with the star, the key star.
Do you know what it does better than I do? So.
Okay, let's see what we can do here. So right here, I put in a little.
It's like a kill switch.
It's a body contact. So by touching metal, you can manipulate it that way,
Oh, that's so cool.
and you can bend it as well. If I can do, this does a replay. So how about? Oh, I think I broke.
Yeah, I think that's up and off.
All right. So if you break it, you just turn it off, turn it back on.
Like everything else in life.
But you can see also how this was sort of a time-consuming process
Mhm.
to get it to do interesting things, because it is sort of this black magic wizardry.
Yeah. It is black magic.
We want to start it because I'm saying this is like great for a horror musical, and someone was saying we should call it Irish Hippo said Joey and the Rocket Jumpers.
That's great.
There are better examples of this.
But I think you had a couple moments of brilliance there.
And again, this might drive your parents or whoever else insane while you're figuring this stuff out. And even when you have done it, it's no guarantee that it's going to sound pretty. What I used to like about this is that the lights would all flicker, and that would give you a beat. But it seems to be stuck on this one point.
Shiznets asks, but aren't there like legit instruments with out of phase tuners, pitch dials, and modulators that you could get the same sound from? He didn't say the last part, but
Yeah, I mean, but this is just kind of there is that, of course, yes. this is just something. It's a hobby that could then lead itself into potentially giving you cool sounds for your films.
Yeah, most like consumer stuff will give you some options like that, but they're designed to sound pleasant. You know, like on a lot of consumer stuff, like the pitch bend is reasonable. You can do one here that is insane. And for every time it doesn't really turn out cool, you might get something that's just an incredible happy accident.
Brittany said, "What if you were the only one in the office and this came on all by itself?"
Exactly.
Good night.
Yeah. See ya.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's great.
That's cool.
See, something like that, I could easily cut a loop out of for like the Polybius arcade machine for like the old tube TV. Probably did too, actually. Should we turn this guy off?
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, I think my batteries are all starting to die. So, I hope this has been fun. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask us in the forums, share your circuit bends, and YouTube more.
We still have about a few more questions.
Oh, okay.
Or time for a few more questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys have questions,
it's a
ask them
lot.
now.
So you just lift it up and over.
Ask.
It's weird.
Okay. Irish, sure. Blah. Irish Hippo asks, can you guys make more a day in the life videos, like a day in the life of an editor, camera operator, director, etc., kind of like how you did the day in the life of a PA? That's a great question. Thanks for requesting that. I would say that we definitely want to make more of those. I think PA's day in the life of a PA is like one of our favorite videos that we've done through film school. The thing is, those just take a lot of time because that was like on the set of a big production, Rocket Jump the Show.
Yeah.
So we put a GoPro on Colin. That was through our friend Nathan, who was shooting Rocket Jump the Show, and then he just had that great footage and then gave it to us. So I think we would just need to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty time intensive and it's a lot of footage too.
Well,
so.
I think the one consideration too is, and it's definitely, that'd be awesome to keep doing more of those. It's finding like a day that is pretty representative of the job in a broad sense. You know, like that day for the PA one is a very accurate PA experience.
Right.
Broadly speaking. When you get to some other jobs where a lot of the tasks may be really dependent on the location or on the specific type of scene, it just becomes a thing of like, which day do we pick?
Yeah.
Because like the duties of some other departments can be drastically different day to day.
Oh yeah, totally.
But at the core, that I think that is a really cool way of showing what the job is. So absolutely, I would certainly be interested.
I think it would work for other on-set type of jobs like gaffer, grip, things like that. I don't know if it would translate the same to editing.
How about a week in the life of the editor?
Maybe.
Or a cycle, like a production, like a turnaround.
It's
in the life of
for sure. Yeah. That might be, there might be something there. Because I don't think a day in the life of an editor is as active because you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you could start kind of showing one day, just give an idea of what your hours happened to be that day, and you sort of almost montage through the rest of it.
Right.
Yeah, I could see it like a week. Like,
whatever's reasonable for an on-set job. A day works for some of the positions wonderfully, but for editorial, it might be for like something at our scale. For doing a short, it might be a week.
Yeah.
If you're looking at like a feature, it might be 2 or 3 months in the life of an editor. Or whatever.
Yeah, because you could just do a few days and then like do the average.
Cool.
Condense them all into an average.
So cool. I think we halfway wrote that video.
Yeah. All right, coming soon.
Architecture. That's a great suggestion. Thank you, Irish Hippo. Good suggestion. Good suggestion.
Any other questions?
Architecture number 4 asks, can you stuff in a too powerful battery instead and boom it / get a too loud sound or something else overdriven? Does that make sense?
Can you put in
a
more powerful battery to get a more powerful sound? That's what I'm hearing.
Yes. I don't think that's how they work.
I don't think so. I'm not sure. I think these things have limiters, I believe. I think that's a phrase.
You could run it through an amplifier.
Yeah, that's essentially what
Yeah.
you would want to do.
And then blow it out.
Yeah. What Kevin said.
You could run it through something and then have that device set way too loud. The only thing is you're running the risk of destroying that device in the process.
Yeah.
Like
I've tried to plug this into a.
But you can also do that. You could also do that to some degree in software.
Mm-hmm.
You could take it into like a sound program or whatever, even a video editing program, and then just artificially make it too loud in software, and you'll get some distortion that way. It's not quite the same as analog, where you're physically destroying your speakers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the safer way to do it.
Yeah. You look matching.
Matching?
Because of the lines on the board in your sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at Kevin.
Where'd you go?
Where's Kevin? Where's Kevin and where's the instrument? A lot of people are up really late. That's what I'm learning right now.
So.
I asked about any more questions. So
like I
just give
said,
him a few more minutes.
if you want that extra power, you can just rig something up like this. You would solder this, of course, and then find an output point for it.
Of
But
course.
you would rig it up to you would basically piggyback off of your speakers there. So you have your red and black coming out of the speakers, and then what you do is you just hook that up to a friggin' 1/4-inch port, like that. And you could essentially hook this up to a guitar amp or a bass amp. Probably a PA would be the best PA system. So then right now I have that set up so I could close it down like that. You gave yourself enough room for your jack to go in because of course it wouldn't fit in this way. You need it to. So think about these things when you're designing how to drill, and you can get more power out of it like that. So there you go.
Just to piggyback off that real quick,
Yeah.
like because that like blown out sound is honestly pretty rad.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff, maybe not the basic features in like sound programs, but a lot of common audio plugins, like anything that's supposed to simulate like an amplifier,
Mhm.
like Guitar Rig or any software side amp simulation. They'll have like the gain knob on there, like the loudness. You can turn up to like 15, and it'll simulate the sound of it just blowing to crap.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's not quite the same as in real life knocking your teeth out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It sounds the right amount of gravel.
Yeah. Well, because even if you get it that loud in real life and you're recording the signal, it's never going to feel the same unless it's in that physical space of that volume anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll essentially get the same result
Yeah.
in software.
That's
I
great.
think architecture number 4 just wants to blow it up.
Hey,
He's
blow it
saying,
up.
would you put in a too powerful battery right now to just explode it? Is it cheap? I mean, completely burn it inside, not get a distorted sound.
Oh.
So I just said, so you just want to blow it up, which I think that's what they want to do.
You can put things like firecrackers inside, perhaps.
Yeah,
just,
we
just
pretty
don't
much
close your hand around it.
did that
Did
Yeah.
you see Armageddon?
in
You
our
could put-
Speak and
you
Spell
could-
video.
You could probably put a bunch of dry ice in it with a bag and throw it, and it'd blow up too.
In our Speak and Spell
Okay,
video,
we gotta stop talking about exploding these things, though.
we literally put prop circuit board in the backside of this so we could build out a prop, and you can see that we did singe the middle of it with our sparklers quite a bit. So, but we didn't do that to the physical board itself. We just used a prop to make it seem like it was hooked up, and that's how we did Speak and Spell. And we literally burned the inside of this thing. So, if that's what you want to do, there's many ways to burn
Baller.
plastic. Just don't breathe it.
Couple of things. Burke Rhodes says the RJ Fest team should have a screening of all the worst personal projects we've ever made, and then talk about how we've grown. We did do that.
Yeah.
We did. Joey did that.
Mine weren't the worst. Mine were the best. Mine were the best projects.
Well, but
Every
Joey's
project
also
that I've ever done.
But Joey's also peaked.
Yeah, I peaked.
It's all
when I
been
was-
downhill since
It's
then.
been downhill.
So he's, So Joey did do that. We did that with Ruby Dog, John Carmen, and Jake Andrews.
Did we do that with Kevin at all?
We haven't
But we want to do it. We should do it more.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think the worst thing I worked on, it was this really obscure show called Video Game High School.
Oh,
no, I could definitely dig around for old stuff. It's all, some of it's on tape. Some of it's I got some stuff.
Nice.
I got some stuff.
Maybe we'll do that again soon for another Throwback Thursday. We did that for a while, and then, but maybe it's been long enough that we can revisit them again. I mean, the my brother and me dudes, don't they do a podcast like that where they watch the same movie every year?
No, that's not them.
No, well,
That's
it's another group of guys that are just as funny.
The Bim Bam guys don't do that.
Whatever.
Andrew Moore says favorite easy meal after tiring workday. I like rice bowls. I also like pasta with burrata and peas. What about you guys?
Pizza.
Nice. Kevin?
Leftovers. Super
Sushi?
easy. Yeah, I can make sushi. Wait, that takes a little while.
Sushi leftovers?
Sushi's kind of
That's a little
labor
dangerous.
intensive.
Sushi leftovers.
Sushi's labor. You don't want sushi leftovers.
No, that's bad.
The rice gets too hard.
Yeah.
Okay, a few more questions. Oliver Weiss asked, this is probably for Kevin, what's a good external audio recorder for a short film under 500? Well, you have one too. Both of you can answer that.
Yeah, it depends on a few things, but broadly speaking, you probably want to look at like a stereo portable recorder, something like the Zoom H6 or a similar product. I think the H6 is about $350 now. It might be $400. But what you'll get for about that price point, basically, is you get like a small handheld thing. It'll probably have a built-in stereo mic, so you can use it as a recorder on its own. But something like the H6 can take up to, I believe, 4 on the default setting, 4 XLR or quarter-inch cables, which, blah, 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 that means you can plug in 4 different microphones into that device, and it has its own microphones built in.
This guy I feel like has gotten worse over time.
That's like a slimmer idea, slimmer version of the same thing.
We used to record our podcast A Long Walk with Mike and Joey on this, and it picks up really good environmental world, as well as our voices right here, so we could hear the dog barking and that was what we did, and it was pretty good. However, I just feel like over time it's gotten worse. Is that possible for the device?
It's a consumer electronic. It'll fail eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think broadly speaking, under 500, the Zoom H6 is a good one right now.
That is
I know they introduced a couple of new products recently, but I think they're a little higher in their price bracket. They're a little more pro grade, and that doesn't mean the quality necessarily, but just how robust they are and how much they charge. I think most of the stuff they've introduced is over 1,000 recently, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, the Zoom H6 is solid. We use those around here. Would definitely recommend it. I would recommend it over the H4, which is their older one. That was kind of all the rage for a couple years.
Oh yeah.
Such the rage.
The reason the H6 is great is you have a physical volume knob for each channel that you're recording. The other one had buttons, and the problem is if you're recording with the mic's built-in thing and you're pressing volume buttons, it's clicking, and that's getting in your recording.
Oh yeah.
So having knobs is great.
Knobs are good.
Ready for
H6.
another?
Yeah.
Petty asks, hey Kevin, that scream sound in Time Rider sounded familiar. I definitely have heard it before. Can you tell us some more fun facts about your sound work on D404?
Yeah, well, let's talk about that screen for a quick second. So we had a second editor, a guy named Steve Tashar, who helped out just cut some of the effects by volume. And then we had both cut a scream for that moment. And he cut a scream called the Howie scream, Howie. You can YouTube that. Which is this old Hollywood scream that kind of sounds like a TIE fighter. It's also used in Half-Life 2 for the head crab speed zombies. And then I had cut my personal favorite, which is the sheep screaming like a person. So our mixer actually just blended them both together into one scream. So that was pretty out of the box. Another really cool one is in Bob. We have this big underground facility, and they have an alarm that goes off, and I didn't want to use a default, a stock library alarm. There's 10 or so alarms in all the sound libraries that are real world manufacturing plant alarms, but since we were kind of bigger and more sci-fi, I want something that sounded different. So I ended up recording an electric razor against a metal vent in my house with contact mics, so they were picking up vibrations through the metal directly. And then I did that at a really high sample rate. So that's the equivalent of shooting something at a higher frame rate. And then I imported it into an editing session without telling it to compensate for that. So it brought in the sort of high frame rate file or whatever and that into a regular session, which means it just stretched it out. So basically it was the buzz of an electric razor, but it ended up being this big booming, rumbling metal Inception-like drone, and that was a particularly fun one. The Polybius creature is mostly donkeys.
That's today's quote.
Yeah. I'll keep thinking, but yeah. We should
Yeah.
do
I figured
I'll do a list of those.
I figured I'll just quietly not quietly, but be here, but also
Yeah.
finishing up this
I
jack.
don't want to
'Cause
quite.
If I don't finish this now, I don't feel like I'm gonna.
Go for it.
If I don't finish it now, I don't feel like I'm gonna
Yeah.
revisit it again. So I want at least.
You're gonna be done.
I'm gonna
Just as a quick closing thought on that though, like I don't want to 100% promise it, but I do think I should write a list of like all the funny tricks in the D44
Well,
sound.
we're talking about maybe
doing a video
Yeah,
of
we're
it?
maybe gonna do a D44, the sounds of D44 video, like we did with the special effects and VFX video that we did today, which is now on our channel. Joey did a great job cutting all that together. But yeah, we might do one about sound. We just talked about that.
It's called Bits and Blips.
Maybe.
That's good.
That's cute.
I do like that title
That's cute.
for the gamer, whatever.
So is the Howie scream like the Wilhelm scream?
It's similar to the Wilhelm, yeah. I'm personally not a big fan of the Wilhelm just because it's like it's not cool anymore.
It's too recognizable.
Yeah,
too.
like once everyone got on the Wilhelm boat, and it's in like every movie and like it's in the video games now. I felt like it was time to do the same thing with something else. So for me, it's all about the sheep scream.
You're making your own Wilhelm. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin's gonna sheep scream it.
Like Freddie actually asked me, like once all the episodes were out, he was like, "Kevin, how many times did the sheep scream?" Like in D404, like it really mattered to him.
Yeah.
Which was funny.
Is there a record or anything like that you care to break or not?
I just try to put in everything I do.
Yeah.
Do it in everything you can.
Yeah.
Was it in the Speak and Spell short?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. I think that's all.
Oh, we got another.
Because
Video
if you
we
threw
can
it
sneak
in
it
lightly
into.
underneath anything, I would not be surprised and
Yeah.
or mad.
You
There's
should.
just no way.
Well, we got another video that you can try and sneak it into this next week.
It's true.
Oh yeah. Gosh,
Spoil
that'd be
it.
so fun.
Secret. It's the video we were editing last week on last week's stream, guys.
If you saw us get bloody on our social, that is what we have in store for you.
Yes. What else? A lot of people in here owned H1s, which is interesting.
Oh. very
Irish
cool.
Hippo is getting one within the next 2 weeks. Any tips on it?
So I have not actually specifically used the H1 very much, but they all pretty much do the same thing. As far as tips, the main thing I would figure out, it's less to do with the device itself. It's more figure out how you're going to carry the device, because you don't want to have to be putting it like in and out of a pocket all the time, because the buttons might get pressed, and you don't want to leave it out somewhere where it might get knocked over. So obviously connect all of your pieces together before you go out to shoot. Turn them all on, make sure they work. Just get used to the basic functions, like basically record and stop, and checking the volume. Specifically, actually, yeah, make sure you get used to recording and stopping, because some of those devices require 2 button presses on the record button to start. You don't want to be shooting, think you're recording, and then realize later, like, oh, I didn't actually roll. So usually the record button will stay red, and there will be like numbers rolling, which sounds obvious, but people will miss that. But yeah, I would say just try to figure out a convenient way to carry that thing that's not gonna get in the way too much. What we've done with some of our recorders, a lot of them will have a little loop at the bottom where you can like put like a little strap through, and you can kind of wear it with like a lanyard around your neck. What we also did, some of those recorders, I don't know if the H1 will have it, some of them will have a tripod plate on the back, and there's belts that actually have a tripod plate on them. Like, they're super dorky, but they're made for DSLR photographers. But you can actually then mount the recorder onto a belt, and you can just wear it. That's another way to do it, which we did for Rocket Jump the Show. But yeah, that would be my main thing. Figure out the workflow and how you're going to carry the gear before you go out.
Cool.
And it's whatever works. There's like not just one right way to do it. It's like just find something that works for you. Like
Good camera upping.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
Good camera.
no, when you buy like $5,000 worth
Probably
of
get
sound
that
equipment, there'll be like a
Good
$500
camera
bag you can carry it in. But you know, when you're doing stuff like a H1,
I'm recording.
just whatever works. You know.
Golden says can also get a Tascam DR60 Mark II, which
Yes.
connects to the bottom of a camera.
Oh.
Insta mics are so epic for getting sound from
Guys.
everything.
I am not doing so hot right now. This one's being really stubborn.
Yeah, Tascam is also definitely solid. We used, I don't remember which one specifically, but we used at least one Tascam on Video Game High School Season 2, which was really...
Are you still soldering? Great. No,
Which was
great. We're locked in with the
which
soldering.
was really useful during like Field of Fire, because we had portable recorders, so we could just put different sound people on different parts of the set.
Stubborn.
Yeah, Tascam's also solid.
Cool. I
Dude.
think we should wrap it up, guys. You want to give a last little update, Joey?
Yes.
On your situation?
We,
I mean, your soldering situation?
Oh, okay.
Is it fixed?
Ladies and gentlemen, what is happening is I believe that the batteries are dying on this, and you cannot hear what we have been doing, unfortunately. So, oh, that's good. Hey, so you just give it a break. The batteries get some juice left in them. So what we've done is we've circuit bent a point.
That sounds creepy.
Anyway,
That's all I had.
I think I'm glitching it out too much. But please experiment. Go see what's at your local thrift store. Go check the stuff out. Right now, I'm just finishing up putting this jack on there so that you can do a line out to whatever recording device you have. Be it one of these with like a line in, line out thing. Just get your necessary adapters. Right now, I have a 1/8 inch going line in to a 1/4 inch jack into a 1/4 inch here on the device. So again, you don't have to be an electrician to do any of this stuff, and you get some pretty cool sounds out of it.
Be safe.
We've used it a lot. Be safe. Don't do anything that isn't powered by battery. Battery power is what you want to be messing around with, not stuff that you would plug into a wall. So soldering, there's nothing to it. Just practice and don't inhale.
Ask your parents.
And ask your parents. Cool. And there's more of this stuff available on YouTube as well. That's how I learned how to do it. It's not very well known, but it is a fun little hobby.
Look up circuit bending tutorials.
Circuit bending tutorial. That's right.
I'll spell it out right now for you.
Circuit's a tricky word.
Check out the Speak and Spell short. We used. It's a better example of how it can be used within film context. Re-listen to the opening intro to Dimension 404. You might hear some of it in there. Yeah, enjoy. And we just released our film school video on the VFX breakdown, or VFX and practical effects breakdown. That's up on our film school channel. If you haven't seen it yet today, go check it out and have fun, be safe, and all the good stuff. Anything else? See you next week.
Brittany wanted she wanted a screenshot.
Okay.
Should we all come over here or over there?
There's more room on this side.
Yes.
Okay. Cameron, get in. There's 1,000 things I could trip on and die after being here. Here you go.
All right. Ready?
Okay. Okay. We did it. Okay, we're gonna end the stream now.
See you guys.
Take it out. Take it out, Larry.
Bye, friends.
Bye, friends.